What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another late night in the BrewLab with me, Lone Fox, your Brewmaster-in-Chief. And tonight, in the BrewLab, I'm coming at you with an Izzet Artifacts deck featuring Tezzeret and Jin-Gitaxias. Without further ado, let's jump into tonight's brew, one I'm calling Enthusiastic Mechs. I'm going to take it from the top, as we always do, and kind of describe the deck, various play lines and interactions, and yeah, then we'll jump into some gameplay footage, hopefully show off those interactions, and then we'll wrap up at the end with my final thoughts. So we start off with a full playset of Voltage Surge as our removal spell of choice. It obviously fits the deck perfectly because it's an artifact deck, so we often have things to sacrifice to Voltage Surge to make it deal 4 damage instead of 2, which is fantastic value for 1 mana at instant speed. Talking about things to sacrifice to Voltage Surge, the very first one of those things is the Iron Apprentice, a 1 mana 0/0 that enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it. So it comes into play as a 1/1, and when it dies, you can put those counters on another creature you control, which is great. Then we're playing Izzet, so you know, red and blue. If you're playing blue and you're not playing counter spells, it feels a little weird, so I did want to have at least one counter spell in the deck. Again, we're playing an artifact deck, so this is just the perfect fit. We've often got untapped artifacts lying around, which means we can cast this for 2 mana and counter target spell. Any spell for 2 mana. Freaking amazing. So we've gone with a full play set of Disruption Protocol. Then, onto our first normal kind of creature. We're looking at a full playset of Enthusiastic Mechanaut. 2/2 Goblin Artificer with flying, and it is an artifact creature. Very important to note, so, you know, all of the artifact synergies that we have can also be triggered by the Enthusiastic Mechanaut being cast or coming into play. Very relevant, it reduces the casting cost of our artifact spells by 1 colorless. So if we have multiple copies of this guy in play, we can potentially end up casting something as expensive as a Surgehacker Mech for 0. And even if we just have one of them in play, our Iron Apprentice costs nothing. If we have one of them in play, our, you know, all of our 2-drops only just cost 1 to play. So really, really crucial. And I wanted to, at least once during tonight's gameplay footage, you know, get to a point where we can cast a Surgehacker Mech for 0. It feels really, really fun. But it's also just a 2/2 flyer, can, you know, consistently get in for a little bit of damage. And it can also be made into a 4/4 with Tezzeret's -2 ability. Target artifact becomes an artifact creature. If it isn't a vehicle, it has base power and toughness 4. This isn't a vehicle, so it becomes a 4/4 with flying, and it'll remain that way for the rest of the game unless it gets removed. So really, really nice being able to make your Enthusiastic Mechanaut into a 4/4 with Tezzeret's -2 ability, something to keep note of. Then, like I said, we are a Mechtitan Core deck, but we're just kind of, it's in here, but it's not what the whole deck is built around. We're really just trying to win with other ways, which I'll get to in a second. But if we ever get the Mechtitan to assemble, it's of course fan-freaking-tastic. The 5 mana cost of the Mechtitan Core, that, you know, to turn it into the Mechtitan, can be reduced to 3 if you have Tezzeret in play, because it says that the first activated ability of an artifact you activate each turn costs 2 less to activate. So quite nice. And another thing to take note of with Tezzeret's static ability is that something as simple as like tapping the Reckoner Bankbuster would cost you 2 colorless to draw a card. Now it's free. So really cool little synergies there with Tezzeret in the deck. But yeah, that's about all I have to really say about Mechtitan Core. It's a really fun win con. We've, in testing, gotten it to go off a few times, and I'm sure you've all seen it already. 10-10, Flying Vigilance, Trample, Lifelink. Boom! Swings the game very rapidly in your favor. And the cool thing is, if the opponent does have some removal, instant speed, because it doesn't have indestructible or anything like that, then you get all of the things back that you exiled to the Mechtitan Core, except for the Mechtitan Core. But that's, you know, it's better than losing them entirely. Next up, our main sort of aggressive threat that can start pumping in some damage really quickly is a full playset of the Patchwork Automaton. A 2-drop that has Ward 2 is, of course, really, really good because you can get this down really quickly. It starts growing really quickly because pretty much everything in the deck is an artifact, and whenever you cast an artifact spell, it gets a +1/+1 counter on it. And so it grows really quickly, and it's tough to remove. So fantastic 2-drop, which can often be cast for free or just for as little as 1 if we have Enthusiastic Mechanaut in play. Then, full playset of the Reckoner Bankbuster. You've all seen it a lot on my channel. I love this card, and you'll be seeing it a lot more of it before this thing rotates. It's just that good. Card advantage that ends up also pooping out a treasure, and a pilot that can crew, you know, the Bankbuster itself. Then we've got a full playset of Circuit Mender. Another thing that is great to sacrifice to Voltage Surge, because and also gives us a little bit of life gain. So not only is it a pretty decent blocker, it can also be cast for very little when you have Enthusiastic Mechanaut in play. It also gains you 2 life when it enters the battlefield and draws you a card when it leaves the battlefield. So plenty going on. Even can just be used as an artifact to assemble Mechtitan. Just plenty reasons why I'm absolutely in love with this little artifact creature insect. So I've gone with a full playset. Don't underestimate that little bit of life gain, especially in a deck that doesn't have any other life gain. It can often keep you alive against those aggro matchups. Then, going on to our 4-drops, I've touched upon Tezzeret already, but we're not done with what he can do to the deck, because I've actually, in testing, gotten the emblem off more often than you'd think. It comes into play as a, with 4 loyalties, so you only need to plus it twice before you can get off the emblem. Of course, you want to plus it 3 times, so when you do the -6, Tezzeret still stays on board, but you'll be surprised how little it's actually relevant. Like, once you've gotten a bit of card draw, maybe made one artifact creature thing into a 4/4, blah, 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 like, the static ability that reduces the cost of your artifacts stuff is not that important if you can get the emblem off, because then stuff starts to get crazy. You get to draw a card whenever an artifact you control becomes tapped. So even something as simple as tapping a Reckoner Bankbuster to draw a card will draw you 2 instead. And, even just attacking with an Enthusiastic Mechanaut or any of your other artifacts, you draw loads of cards. So, like, between the Reckoner Bankbuster, the Circuit Mender leaving the battlefield, and Tezzeret's +2 or Tezzeret's -6, we're drawing plenty cards often in the deck, and that's obviously always a good thing to keep your cards, your hand nice and stocked with fresh threats and options and things to do. Then, Voltage Surge is not the only removal spell. We've also got 3 copies of the Surgehacker Mech. When it enters the battlefield, it deals damage equal to twice the number of vehicles you control to target creature or planeswalker. So it's nice that not only the Voltage Surge can go to planeswalkers and creatures, so can the Surgehacker Mech. There's lots of planeswalkers in the format right now, so you can use this to deal with those. Cruise for 4. So again, I'm going to talk about the lack of good things to crew our vehicles with in the deck shortly, because it's not that important. You can -2 Tezzeret to crew the guy, to make it into a creature permanently, or you can use your Patchwork Automaton to crew things, but most of the times it's like, why would I want to crew, like, if I've got a 4/4 Automaton, yeah, sure, I can crew a Surgehacker Mech and attack for 5, but probably you're better off just attacking with the automaton than tapping it down just to attack with something else. So we're really trying to use the other ways we have in the deck of turning our vehicles into creatures rather than the traditional way where we crew them with creatures. So one of those ways I've already touched upon. It's the Tezzeret's -2, but we've also got 2 copies of the Mech Hangar in the mana base. I'm thinking now I'm actually just gonna get rid of these creature lands and go up to 4 because it's pretty important. Might actually just go like... tough call that. I don't know if to get rid of the fields of ruins. Urgh. You know what? I'm gonna do some typical BrewLab stuff and just test it a little bit first and then make a decision. That's why I left it like this. I have 2, 2, and 2 of the weird lands, and I kind of want to decide whether, because I want to have more mech hangers and I want to have more treasure vaults, but I'm also reluctant to get rid of our other important, lands. Maybe we could just go down to like one of each of these. Yeah, that's a better option. And then we can go one more mech hanger, one more treasure vault. Perfect little edit. On we go with the deck. Which brings us finally to a sneaky single copy of Jin-Gitaxias, the Progress Tyrant, which fits the deck perfectly. I didn't want to have too many of these guys in here. It is a very expensive card to cost. It's really not the main win con or anything, but when it is on board, things start to get really loopy, because whenever you cast an artifact, instant or sorcery spell, we get to copy that spell. Of course, pretty much everything in the deck except for Tezzeret is an instant or sorcery or an artifact, so we're going to be copying every time we cast something for the first time each turn. And whenever the opponent does the same thing, that spell gets countered. So just fantastic, fantastic card. I love Jin-Gitaxias. One of my favorite blue new top end cards. Like, it feels a lot more fair than something as stupid as the Hullbreaker Horror, which is just unbelievably busted. This just feels a little bit more like a playable card that isn't like gonna completely ruin games of Magic like the Hullbreaker Horror. You know how much I hate that card. And that's the deck. As far as the mana base, I've already touched upon it briefly. We've just got some basics, some duels, some interesting, utility lands, some creature lands, and 2 of the new legendaries. And that's the deck. Enthusiastic Mechs. Let's jump into some games. Let's try and assemble that Mechtitan, shall we? Ranked. Let's play some ranked. I don't care about my rank anymore. I've given up. I'm kidding. I'm definitely going to make a nice big run into the top 1,200 closer towards the end of the month. But for now, I'm in Mythic. And I know the deck that I'll be using to make that run. Probably Naya aggro. So we can just play a bit of jank in Mythic and see how it goes. Nice. Nice hand. I like it. We do need a bit more land, but that's okay. We'll get it. I believe in the heart of the cards. Jesse with some green snowlands and a silver quill sleeve. You might have Oseju, no? Okay. I would love another land now, because I have a feeling he's going to play a juicy 3-drop. Yes, the deck listens, baby. Mono green snow with some slightly new cards. Here comes the I was expecting a Blizzard Brawl for sure. You might have a Snakeskin Veil. Nope. Okay, so let's hold up the mana to draw a card with the Bankbuster. Second blue source. So we'll hold up the 2 blue sources for the Disruption Protocol. Swing for 5. And ready to counter whatever you got coming. Or we can draw a card with one of the Bankbusters, which is fantastic. Here's that Blizzard Brawl. There it is. So we're going to tap an untapped artifact. Are you purposefully trying to lose the game, or what's going on here? Yeah, that's what I thought. A free Iron Apprentice. More blue. No. So we hold up the Apprentice as a blocker. I should have probably swung with the Enthusiastic Mechanaut as well, just to really apply that pressure, but might want more than one blocker. Let's see if there's like a hasty 4-drop coming through. Sorry, Jesse. A little bit bricking opponent. We also got some phenomenal draws, like all of our removal and stuff just came just when we needed it. Mwah! Game 1 win always sets the mood for the night, and that makes me very happy. On to the next one. Oops. Hartnell down GD. Would have liked the blue source, but we might just top deck it now. Oh, black is no good, but at least they have no artifact removal. There's the blue source. Ward 2 is just great in these situations, especially against black. They got so much removal, but they just can't quite get rid of it now. Even if he uses the dispute. Now we get to double cast. Treasure? It's got ward. You have to make the treasure. I hope he tries the other one. But I doubt anybody in Mythic would make a mistake like that. There we go. Banking. Busting some banks. Swing for 3. I would have held up the guy as a blocker, but oh no, he swung in last turn. Forget I said that. We've got Mechtitan potentially ready to rumble in a few turns. This is also the cool thing. It becomes like a magnet for removal. I just have a bad feeling there's going to be a Lolth coming right now, which is just one of my least favorite cards to play against. Really hate that Planeswalker. Also, there could be Blood on the Snow already, which is just terrible. Okay. Cool, 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 cool. Mechtitan next turn. Oh, it's not Blood. Well, I mean, I'm probably still Blood on the Snow because of the snow-covered swamps there, but might be like a Mythic Massacre. Okay. Twitchy boy. Need 5 mana. Next turn, it's Mechtitan time. Potentially. Potentially. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I'm debating whether I want to try and attack with one of these things. Yeah, why not? And we can still draw a card with the Bankbuster. Another Hangar. It's enough lands now, deck. Thank you. I'm terrified of Mythic Massacre right now. Okay. You need something to sacrifice. Rakdos control. Maybe. Wow. 3rd March. Unbelievable. We're ready. We're ready for you, mate. Oops. Perfection. I love it so much. The Mechtitan. Okay, now he's gonna exile it. I mean, if he wants to get rid of his own Skullport Merchant with the Necrotic Fumes, I'm all for it. We get back all of our stuff. Our Bankbusters are all recharged. We got you, bait. We got you. Oh yeah, baby. That's the way the cookie crumbles. I was terrified there for a moment when I saw all of those black lands, and I was just expecting more sort of Mythic massacres and Blood on the Snows, but woo! We not only assembled Mechtitan Core, we also won the game, and that is just what it's all about. Now let's try and play a match where we actually get Tezzeret down and start doing some Tezzeret shenanigans. By the way, if you haven't crafted one yet, or you're on the fence about whether you should or not, the next few sets are all going to be heavily, I don't think Capenna so much, but the Brothers War and the Dominaria one or whatever that are coming for the rest of the year are like historically very heavy on the artifacts, so it's just going to keep getting better as the year progresses. We need to get another land though that isn't colorless. Very important. Magic G. G? Magic G? G would have had an H in it. Oh, and G is so good. You know what G is? What? Don't give me this shit. What's going on? Yeah? Sorry guys, just some quick technical issues. And we're back. I hope. Yes, we're back. Sorry, internet is not that good in this country. Hello. Good game. Could be Jawari already. Disgusting. Mono blue. Are you kidding me? Very brave of the opponent. Very nice though. Haven't seen that done in a long time. Not a very good saga, that's for sure. Don't tell me you got another spell pierce, dude. Okay, fine, fine. This is gonna be a very annoying match. I have a sneaking suspicion. So bummed he countered that automaton. Let's see if he's willing to you know, sacrifice non... Okay, this is a creature, so we can just play that. Bang. Bangtastic. We got 2 counter spells, which is great. Okay, I've seen this thing. Okay, cool. You're trying to do this. Let's see if this is actually a decent deck. I'm actually pretty excited to see what the opponent can do with this. We're ready to counter with Disruption Protocol. We've got an untapped artifact over here. Sure. Hello. I mean, that's enough lands now, right? Hello, Tez. Okay, but now I'm not going to cast that into 3 untapped blue lands without backup counter magic, so we'll just keep swinging. He might go for the bounce spell now. Yep. Doesn't really change anything. Down to 8. I'm debating activating the hall and just attacking. If I play Tezzeret and I need a counter spell, pay 4. Alright, so X is 1. This might be really dumb. If you want a double block, I'm happy to take that trade. This treasure is just setting myself up so that next turn I can actually safely cast a Tezzeret with Disruption Protocol up, because we need one more blue source. Okay, passing the turn. Le Deluge. Okay, I'm gonna counter that. I don't want him drawing any cards. Does he flip the Delver? If he does, it's 6. No, he doesn't. Would have been 10 damage. Would have been very close. Yeah, clever. We can gain some life still. That's epic. Cheeky bugger. Better be blocking. I don't understand why I can't cast this. It says the same mana value as that spell. So it wasn't a foretold sword coming, so that costs 3. Oh, because this is originally 3. It's just that it's showing us 2 because of the Enthusiastic Mechanaut. Ah, that's terrible. So we're taking 5 damage next turn. That's okay. It's okay. We should still be okay. Opponent's bricking heavily. Like, we got a little lucky. I think the game wouldn't have gone quite as easily for us if he'd had more lands to play with. Okay. So this is a 3 mana card now. When it's the disturb is 3, yeah. So now I can't cast 3 drops again, but I can play my Tez until your next turn. Wow, pretty nice card actually. This, I'm gonna have to have a look at it. However, it does appear as though
no one's coming to save you.
Oh, just the perfect top deck. He has to block. No, he's dead. Game over. Unless he's got a Fading Hope, which is possible. Nope. 3-0, guys. 3-0. And we've arrived at the 45-minute mark. So I think I'm going to leave it at that and not jinx things. Definitely got to do some stuff. We didn't get to play Jin-Gitaxias, but you'll just have to trust me. It's worth the 1 drop. The 1 slot in your deck to just run a spicy one of Jin-Gitaxias. So let's just jump back into the deck with my final thoughts. The edits I made to the mana base at the beginning were fantastic. I wouldn't change a thing. Going with 3 of each of these is really crucial, and I wasn't too sad about having to drop 1 of each of these legendaries. They're actually probably 2 of the least good ones out of the cycle. Otawara is pretty good, but it's quite expensive. Sokenzan just makes it 2/1/1s. It's not that important in this deck, so kind of worked out just perfectly. And we were then able to leave our 2 creature lands in the deck, which we didn't get to activate once, but we had a chance to there in the last game with Horde of the Storm Giants, which might have actually been game-ending stuff. But that's the deck. I hope you like it. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. But thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you all tomorrow for some fresh brews. And until then, this is Lone Fox from the BrewLab, signing out. Peace, y'all.